There are two type of matrix multiplications that are available in RStudio, R language. First matrix multiplication is just a plain matrix multiplication, or we can call it as a dot matrix multiplication, in which each element from first matrix will be multiplied with the corresponding element from the second matrix. For an example, if we take first row first element of matrix A, then it will be multiplied with first row first element of matrix B. If we take second row first element of matrix A, then it will be multiplied with second row first element of matrix B, and so on and so forth. So it's just like addition, subtraction. Here the dot multiplication is also the same. That corresponding element of matrix A will be multiplied with the corresponding element of matrix B. So as in addition and subtraction, here also both the matrices should be of the same size. Now we can now, as we know, matrix A is a subdata of, or a subset of a capital C data frame, and matrix B is a identity matrix. So their result, if it gets multiplied, it ought to have only diagonal elements, as all the non-diagonal element of matrix A will be multiplied with 0, and hence they ought to be 0. So let us check it on RStudio. We have matrix A, which will be multiplied with matrix B, and if we run this, as you can see, we have here our original matrix A. Diagonal elements are 45, 21 and 14, so they are getting multiplied with 1 in 1, 1, so they will remain unchanged, and all the non-diagonal elements are getting multiplied with 0, so they have been changed to 0. So this is a dot matrix multiplication. If we go back, the second type of matrix multiplication which is available in R is the actual algebraic matrix multiplication that we perform by multiplying the first row of the first matrix with the first column of the second matrix. So as we all know, the true matrix multiplication or the algebraic matrix multiplication, the first row of first column will be multiplied with first row of first row of first matrix will be multiplied with first column of second matrix to generate the first element of resulting matrix. The second element of resulting matrix will be generated by multiplying first row of first column with first row of first matrix with second column of second matrix, and likewise. So this is the actual matrix multiplication, and that is performed like this. To differentiate between dot matrix operator and true matrix multiplication operator, here the matrix multiplication or the multiplication operator symbol is slightly changed. There are two percentage symbol and asterisk symbol is enclosed within it. So now if we can see matrix A, when it is getting multiplied with matrix B in a algebraic manner, there is no 0 element over there because it's not one-to-one matrix multiplication. So for a true matrix multiplication to take place, it is very essential that the rows of first column must be exactly same with the columns of second. Rows of first matrix must be exactly same to the columns of second matrix. So if we perform this on RStudio, we have matrix A, which we are multiplying with matrix B with this special operator, and if we run this, yes, this is the output that we are getting. So these are the two type of matrix multiplication operations that we can perform over a matrix. After that, we have two special functions using which we can find out the transpose of a matrix and determinant of a matrix. Now to find out the transpose of a matrix, the function that we use is T. As a parameter to the function, we are supposed to give the name of a matrix whose transpose we want to calculate. Now, as we all know, a transpose of a matrix is simply reversing the rows and columns of the matrix. So let us check whether we can do it in RStudio. So we call function T and pass it matrix A. Passing matrix B to find a transpose will be useless because identity matrix, even after taking a transpose, will remain an identity matrix, so we will not able to observe any change into it. But if we pass matrix A to a transpose function, as we can see here, the original matrix had 1, 2, 3 rows and played 1 and lost columns, but the transposed matrix has played 1 lost rows and 1, 2, 3 columns. So this is the transpose of a matrix. To find a determinant value of a matrix, the function we use is det. So if we run this function and pass our matrix A again, so we'll get a determinant value of matrix A, and it's minus 222. So these two functions are used to find transpose as well as determinant of a matrix. So this is all about a matrix, and now let us move ahead to the part 3 of today's session, that is merging and importing data. Now here the learning objectives are exploring different functions for a data frame, then how to merge two data frames, and then how to import data from various type of file formats like text file or XML file. So the prerequisite is like same that we had in last section, that is we must know what is data frame, we must know the R script, running R script in RStudio, and how to set the working directory. Now to understand this section, we are primarily using following files which are made available to you. Make sure that they are in your working directory. So now again we are creating one data frame, captaincy1, from captaincy-data.csv. So let's first create it. We already have captaincy, but we are not using it, and we are creating captaincy1 as a new data frame using same read.csv function. So if we run this and we would like to view, we can also use print function, or we can use view function to view the data frame, but make sure if we are using a view function, V must be capital. Captaincy1. So if I run this, this is my captaincy one data frame. It is exactly similar to the captaincy data frame because it is been extracted from the same CSV file, and we will be using it for merging purpose. So once this is done, let us see a summary function. This function is very crucial as far as data analytics or data science is concerned, because this function will give you the overall summary of the current data frame. This function generates 6 values for each numeric column of a data frame. The 6 values are minimum value of a data frame, mean value, that is the average value of that particular column, minimum value of the column, not the data frame but the column, mean value, that is the average value of that column, first quartile. Now this value says that there are 25% of data in that column which are less than this value, whichever value this will be. 25% of the data will be less than this value. Median of the column, or it is also known as second quartile, which says that 50% of the data is less than median. Third quartile, that is 75, which says that 75% of the data in that column is less than this particular value, and finally it gives us the max value of that column. So max and min values are used to find out which is the maximum or the minimum value of the column, as well as to get outliers of a particular variable, that is a column. So this function is very crucial. So now to use the function, we are simply using name of function summary and passing it the data frame whose summary we want. And this type of output is expected. And now you can see here, as the names column has only string data, we cannot find out mean, median, quartile for this. So there is no numerical value associated with this. But if we see from second column onwards, each column has some numerical value in it, and that's why we can calculate minimum, maximum, as well as the other values related to that column. Though again, for column Y, which is year, it is not relevant to find out the values, but for columns like played, won, lost, and victory, this is very important to know what is the first quartile, or what is the median value, or what is the average value of that column, what is the maximum value, what is the minimum value. Now minimum equal to 25 says that there exists a player who has played only 25 matches. So this player, whosoever he may be, has played the minimum number of matches, that is 25 among these players. And this player, whosoever it may be, has played the maximum number of matches, that is 49. Likewise, these all column has the summary information along with that. So this is very crucial function, and while doing data analysis, these values like first quartile or median value or the third quartile are very extensively used for different various kind of analysis. So if we run our summary function over captaincy 1 data frame, and if we run this, yes, this is where you will get output. So as you can see here, as the output is big, it's not fitting in one row, so they have given it in second row. But these are the values that are available with each column. Like for column played, won, lost, victory, these are their corresponding values. So this is a very crucial function available in R. Now moving forward, there exist two special functions in R: class function and type of function. Now, what is the difference between a class of a data frame and a type of a data frame? So a class function will give us which class that data frame belongs to, and the type of function will give us the type of the data frame. Now, let me explain you what this actually means. A class of a data frame is according to the object-oriented paradigm. Means captaincy 1, this particular object, this everything in R is an object. So captaincy 1 is basically an object, and that object from an object-oriented paradigm is considered a data frame. But captaincy 1, if we are talking about the type is according to the data structure point of view. So captaincy 1 object, according to data structure point of view, it is a list. Now what is the list? We are going to see it on the subsequent day. But to make things simpler over here, a list is something which can have heterogeneous data. And that's why according to data structure type point of view, data structure paradigm, captaincy 1 object is a list. But according to object oriented paradigm, captaincy 1 is a data frame. So this is the basic difference. If we can run this, let us have some other example also. So if I just create V, a vector, with some basic values like 1, 2, 3. I have created it. If I check its class of V, I think it would be numeric, or yeah, it is numeric, as you can see here. But if I check the type, oh, I am typing it in the wrong window, sorry. If you check the type of V, it is double. So class is something which is according to the data structure, object oriented point of view, and type is something which is according to the data structure point of view, how the data is physically considered and stored in the memory. So this is type, and that's why for a same object V, we have different class, different type. It will not be same. It will not be the case that it will be different every time, but most of the time it may be different for class and type of. Now let us check the class of our data frame, that is captaincy1, and type of captaincy1. If we run both them, because we have not run the first class command also, so if we run both of them, you can see the class is data frame and type is list. So these are two important functions related with data frame.